Let's bring in retired U.S. Army Brigadier General Anthony Tata now to address many of these issues. General, I'd love to ask you this. Bibi Netanyahu made a very, I think, specific point to say that Israel is now at a state of war, that whatever the response would be, it would not be an operation, it would be a war. Do you find that significant? And if so, what is the significance? What will it mean for Israel?
Yeah, good morning, team. Yeah, it's hugely significant. The state of war within Israel allows for certain permissions and authorities within their government to conduct operations cross-border and to do what they need to do to secure Israel. This isn't some limited operation to restore the borders. This is to attack and defeat the enemy that is attacking them. And so state of war gives them some authorities that they might not otherwise have. And you have to really look, team, at it was only a short while ago that we unfroze several billion in assets to Iran. And we talked to her blue in the face about the path of the money to Iran, to Hamas, to Hezbollah, to the Houthi rebels, and Iran being the #1 state sponsor of terror in the world, much less within this region that they love to destabilize. So this is a very significant event here on the 50th anniversary of the Yom Kippur War.
Yeah, it is extremely significant. And General Tata, it's happening following former President Trump's Abraham Accords, and we saw the normalizations of relations between Israel and several Arab nations. It's also happening as the Biden administration is trying to normalize relations between Saudi Arabia and Israel. Could this be a response to that, where these forces, whether it's Hezbollah or Hamas backed by Iran, are trying to intimidate Israel to not go forward with a normalization of relations with other Arab nations?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very good read of the situation. Iran has a very special interest in keeping this region destabilized. We need to believe them when they say they want to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. And any step by any other, whether it's Shia or Sunni Muslim nations or sects, to normalize relations gets in the way of Iran's self-interest. And so Iran's, the theocracy there, their self-interest is to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. And, they chant death to America. So, and they know that Israel's our #1 ally. So this is an attack on Israel, but it's also an attack on U.S. interests in the region.
As you're talking, General, we've got live images inside Gaza City as the sort of attacks go back and forth. How quickly, talk to us about the, and right here, our viewers are seeing it. We just saw someone limping back. Maybe they were shot, ambulances moving. This is on the Palestinian side of the conflict. Considering how built up, as Will talked about, how built up Gaza is, how long, give us a timeline of your sense of the scope and timeline of Israeli retaliation. Because if you're sending infantry battalions or divisions, you're sending them into a hornet's nest at this point, completely controlled by Hamas. There would be casualties, but how else do you get these hostages out?
Yeah, Pete, really good question. I've been in the southern part of Israel, that borders the Gaza Strip. There are tunnels that the Israelis have found. There are probably tunnels they haven't found, which may have contributed to the strategic surprise element here. I've been inside, obviously on the Israeli side, some of those tunnels, and it's significant. Hamas has been preparing for this day for years, and so getting at restoring this border and rescuing the hostages is going to require a significant joint and combined military operation. The question is, does Israel do this alone? How do we share intelligence with them? There are a lot of policies and decisions that need to be made within the U.S. administration here, and the divisiveness within particularly the Democrat Party in supporting the Palestinians and supporting Iran and supporting these terrorists with the Squad and all of them. You see how those discussions, high level, unreal discussions about supporting terrorists such as these sects of the Palestinians and Hamas and Hezbollah can come and home to roost against the Israelis, who are our number one ally in the region. So they've got to put forth a significant military operation here, Pete, and it's going to involve special forces. It's going to involve intelligence, and Iran, I think, is trying to stoke a larger war here. The reports are they were trying to get Lebanon involved. So this we're just seeing the very beginning of this.
We just now have reports that at least 100 Israelis have been killed. That number is growing significantly from the one you can see at the bottom of your screen. One quick follow-up here, General. Rescuing the hostages seems actually a fairly limited extent of the operation. As you pointed out with your initial answer, Netanyahu declaring a war insinuates a different objective, which you addressed at the beginning, which is the destruction of your enemy. And so as we watch the next step in this, I mean, I can only assume that means Hamas and potentially not stopping at Hamas. Iran has been mentioned several times already. So as you look at what happens next, I'm just curious what you talked about, a wider war. The Palestinians want the wider war. I'm just curious if it is a war and the objective is the destruction of your enemy, who is the identified enemy?
Yeah, so it's Hamas and any rat lines that go back to Iran, and they need to look at the intelligence with Hezbollah and Lebanon as well. And I don't think Netanyahu is going to pull any punches here. I think he's going to say these are our enemies and we need to defeat them. And defeat means that you stop their will to fight. So this could go on for quite a while. And the restoration of his border, the rescue of his people, and ensuring the security of the Israeli state are all at stake here. And this is a very significant development. And it will be interesting to see what this administration, how they handle supporting Israel, whether or not they're going to share intelligence, which I think is probably the key thing that we could do to help them, and other types of aid. Just one point I'd like to make. This administration has been bullying Israel to support Ukraine and leveraging their allies in the corporate media to bully Israel to support Ukraine when they weren't. They finally sent a field hospital, I think. But here we see in real time the impact of not understanding the severity of playing loose with the facts and having a weak foreign policy with respect to our number one ally in the Middle East. And it's really shameful that we've been bullying Israel to support Ukraine when every day Israel is under threat of attack from three different sides.
No doubt. Well, General Anthony Tata, thank you for your time.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.